Good morning, old souls. It's nice to see you again. It's a little later in the day today than when we normally get together. Spring is here. We have the tiny buds coming out on the trees where I am as I record this. And today I'm thinking about something I saw in a little gift shop yesterday. It's probably something that has been said thousands of times in thousands of very similar ways. But for some reason it stuck with me, and it really felt like something I wanted to talk about today. And I feel like it needs to be short and sweet, because the phrase that I saw was very simply this: the quieter you are, the more you hear. That's it. The quieter you are, the more you hear. And it's such a simple statement, but it seems to me there's a lot there. The first thing that strikes me is that there's lots of people out there who may not be particularly busy talking, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're quiet, right? So you can live alone. You can be out for a walk in a park or the forest. You could be working and not making a sound. But I think when we hear masters throughout the ages saying that we hear more the quieter we are, I think they're referring to a different kind of quietness. There's the physical quietness, yes, but then there's also mental quietness. Do we know how to quiet our minds, not just in meditation, but in activity, which really is, I think, what the art of contemplation is all about. More than that, I think a lot of us, as we grow quiet, we also become very preoccupied with our feelings, our emotions, and then we're in these really complicated dialogues, not only with our emotional world, but also with the people that we feel who have caused or created our emotional world. So there's layers to it. And then eventually there's just real quietness. So when we make it a practice, I think we have to work through those layers. So it starts with the physical. Get yourself to a quiet place. Get yourself to a place where you can be still, where you can be silent. And then work with your mind, work with your thoughts. And if not, just watch them until they start to run out. And then, if necessary, give your emotions some time. Feel what you need to feel, but keep listening deeper. And the question arises, what is there exactly to hear when we cease or lessen the thinking, lessen the feeling and reacting? It seems to me that the more significant dimension to this statement or this calling to stillness, to silence, to quiet, is not just about our relationship with ourselves. It's not just about managing stress and busyness and hyperactivity of mind and emotion. I think it's opening ourselves to deeper things. And yeah, those deeper things can first be in ourselves: creativity, intuition, a sense of knowing, the root of our authenticity. But having spent a remarkable amount of time in silence and deep listening, which most people probably wouldn't believe considering how much I like to talk, what I find is that the most profound quietness, the most profound stillness and silence that I am capable of entering, reveals that the entire universe is in a constant dialogue. It's like we live inside a silent symphony. It's energy, it's wisdom, it's love, it's a felt sense of connection. And those things are profoundly real. In fact, when you're quiet enough to feel them, they feel more real than anything else. They feel substantial, they feel vital, they feel essential. And so it enriches our conversations, it enriches our meetings. We can hold people more completely in their experience. We can hear more completely what they're saying or feeling. And then there's something more, which is that these deeper levels of silence allow us to experience the voice of life itself. God, spirit, the energy and intelligence of the natural world. All these things speak to us and through us. And yet the vehicle or the platform, the forum, the environment, the channel, the conduit, whatever you want to call it, it's silence. One of the essential qualities of silence that I'd like to invite you to cultivate is simply the lack of filter, the lack of distraction. I think the essence of the silence that heals is having nothing between you and things. So nothing between you and the person you're talking to, nothing between you and the forest you're walking through, nothing between you and the airport lounge or the grocery store. It is a practice of presence, profound presence, but presence coupled with a very intentional surrendering, the constantly analyzing, controlling, judging, predicting mind. So today's reflection is really about quietness, stillness, silence. And I invite you to engage a practice every day for a week, 7 days. Try it 7 days, 7 days only, to carve out 10 minutes. Now, it may take 30 minutes to get to a pure 10 minutes. It may take an hour for some of you to get to a pure 10 minutes. But 10 minutes every day of complete quietness, deep, deep listening and presence. And I encourage you not to do this meditating, not at all. Do this walking. Do this with an activity. Do this in nature. I'd say that's my first place I would invite you to. Do this in nature and listen as if something were speaking to you in a barely audible voice. That is the kind of quiet we're talking about, as though there were a faint, faint whisper and that someone were calling to you and that you could barely, barely hear it. And so you still yourself completely, like you're listening, as if you were hearing someone call you from the world beyond with a message more important than anything that could be in front of you, with a message that might save your life. Listening is the essence of this quietness. Listening is the essence of this silence. Try that for 10 minutes a day, 7 days. That's it. Just make a commitment to yourself and see what happens. See what you hear when you listen deeply. And remember, you're listening for something, It's not meditation. It's not an energy practice where you're reviewing some visualization. There's no mantra. There's no counting. You can use all that stuff to get yourself quiet. But it's 10 minutes of quiet listening for the voice of the universe, listening for the song of your soul, listening for the messages from the earth. Listen, listen, listen. And then, I don't know, why don't you let me know what you hear? Catch you later.